sit silent, half buried and waiting for owners who never return. One machine still moves, and that makes it dangerous. A stocky man watches from the shade, jaw tight as the bidding ends against him. Nothing here changes hands without resentment. The machine follows them home, obedient and silent, carrying more hope than it should. The older man looks almost relieved. That night, an adult woman scrubs metal plates with dry grit, conserving what little moisture remains. No one comments on how normal this has become. By morning, the machine's shed stands open, chains cut clean. The younger man feels the loss before he fully understands it. The older man doesn't hesitate, already blaming the only rival angry enough to take it. Anger gives him direction. At the fence depot, guards don't ask questions before swinging. The older man goes down hard, losing hours he can't afford. He wakes to accusations instead of answers, dust caked in his mouth. Someone else has already decided his guilt. He breaks free in the chaos, fleeing into open ground with borrowed breath. Survival feels temporary now. Near a ravine, he finds the machine parked beside the stocky man, who sleeps like he owns the world. The truth is suddenly within reach. The older man ties him to the machine, promising to return him to the depot as proof. The promise sounds thin even to himself. They walk under the sun, trading insults and half-truths, until thirst erases the argument. Water becomes a temptation again. The stocky man strikes when weakness shows, stone against skull, gravity finishing the rest. The land accepts another body without comment. When the older man wakes, he's the one bound now, dragged forward by the machine he trusted. His fate is already moving. The machine keeps moving long after the older man's voice is gone, dragging him across stone until flesh gives way. No one sees where it ends, only where it starts. Days later, the younger man finds the machine alone, stopped against a slope like it lost interest. His father is nowhere in sight. At the depot, the guards speak carefully, already agreeing on the story. An accident is easier than the truth. The funeral is quick, the ground too hard to dig deep. Grief doesn't last long where survival keeps interrupting it. The stocky man returns with calm words and steady hands, stepping into the empty space without being asked. No one stops him. He speaks gently to the younger man, redirecting blame toward metal and fate. The explanation feels complete enough to accept. At the depot, he argues writes a letter in someone else's name, inviting the stocky man back to the ravine. The lie is deliberate. The stocky man reads it twice, unsettled by a voice that should be gone. Curiosity overrides caution. He tells the woman he's leaving on business, promising a quick return. She believes him because she wants to. The ravine waits unchanged, patient as ever. Some places remember everything. The stocky man walks forward calling out, eyes searching for movement that doesn't come. The ground answers instead. The pit gives way, snapping bone on impact. He screams, and the sound stays trapped with him. When the younger man appears above, relief flashes too quickly to hide. Help seems close again. The younger man says nothing, lifting a rug, then lowering it. Silence becomes the answer. The stocky man understands too late, apologies spilling where blood already has. Mercy doesn't arrive. The rifle ends the argument with a single echo. Another secret sinks into the ground. 2 days pass without questions, worry growing at home. The younger man asks for patience. She talks about bringing family home, about using money for care instead of fear. The plan sounds clear. The younger man listens, already deciding what she'll never know. Protection feels like control now. Far away, the carrier machine reaches its maker, scarred but functional. It carries more than cargo. Footage plays back without judgment, showing moments meant to stay buried. The younger man watches alone. He sees the truth carried frame by frame, undeniable and final. Grief sharpens into resolve. When the playback ends, he deletes everything, choosing what survives. Some machines remember too much. Outside, water continues to run, crops rising on borrowed lines. The land doesn't care who paid. The younger man steps into the light, carrying silence home. Survival has chosen him, and taken its price. The fields mature quickly, heavy heads bending under sun and wind. Prosperity settles in like it belongs there. Workers arrive from nowhere, cutting and bundling without asking questions. Silence is the preferred wage. The adult woman laughs again, touching the crop like proof. Joy doesn't notice what it's built on. At night, the younger man wakes to imagine sounds from the ravine. The land keeps replaying what he erased. He checks the rifle again, even though there's no one left to aim at. Habits outlive threats. At the depot, guards whisper about missing men and unpaid deals. Power shifts quietly. No one comes asking for the stocky man. Absence becomes explanation enough. The younger man takes over negotiations, firm and controlled. Authority fits him uncomfortably well. Water quotas stabilize, crops secure. Stability feels earned, not stolen. The woman asks again about her partner, softer this time. Waiting is starting to hurt. The younger man says nothing definitive, offering only time. Delay becomes policy. At the ravine, wind smooths over disturbed stone. The pit waits, unchanged. The younger man visits once, standing where choices ended. He leaves without ceremony. Grain is loaded onto trucks, heading out to markets that don't ask origin stories. Profit moves fast. The shack fills with supplies, metal shelves bending under weight. Security replaces hunger. At night, the younger man dreams of the machine moving on its own. Control is always temporary. He dismantles what remains of the machine, piece by piece. Memory becomes scrap. The last component sparks briefly, then talks asking about the past. Acceptance settles in. The younger man watches her and says nothing. Silence is his inheritance. Fields stretch farther each season, reclaiming land once written off.